Good evening to you, Thabo, and indeed a very good evening to our viewers who are just joining us. Hopefully they have now switched after that important result at the World Cup. What a moment it has been. All right, let's focus the attention here, and this is the business of the African National Congress as it holds its 55th elective conference. It is day 3. Am I correct? I think it is day 3. I'm being corrected here by the ANC NEC member and outgoing chairperson of International Relations Subcommittee, Lindiwe Zulu. I am correct. It is day 3 of the conference.
Yes, it is, Xoli. Thank you very much, but I wouldn't miss the chance to say, Viva Argentina.
Well, I suppose you're allowed. So let's talk about
I missed
the business.
it, unfortunately.
Because you decided that you wouldn't give us a day off.
No,
I think we were all supposed to get a day off.
No, we can't get a day off because unfortunately it fell at the wrong time for us. We have a conference to deliver.
Yeah.
We've got delegates who are here. We have to make sure that we complete the conference. So I think the story about conference not happening is over now.
Yeah.
Conference is happening. And we're happy to be here.
Well, let's talk about where the process of the conference is right now. People at home waiting with bated breath to hear who the top 7 is going to be. I know you are not with the elections team that is conducting the elections here, but guesstimates as to when we might hear that result. When do you think that will be?
Look, it's very difficult to tell, Xoli, because we're doing 2 things at the same time. The commissions are also continuing because one of the main reasons why we are here is because we've got to make sure that we adopt the policies that we agreed upon at the policy conference. We've got to make sure that by the time we go out of here, it's not just about who we elected. It is also about that one who is elected or the ones who are elected. What are they taking back home? And what are they telling South Africa and the world what the African National Congress is going to be doing after the conference?
Well, I'm glad that you immediately want to touch on the policy discussions, because if you block for a moment and focus the attention on the quality of debates, whether inside the plenary hall or be it in the commissions, when you look at the delegates and their commitment or lack thereof, are you satisfied that these delegates understand what they are here to do, or are you more worried about the state of the ANC and the direction in which it is going?
Yes, we are worried about the state of the ANC. We can't play around with that. It is fact. And this, I'm sure a lot of people have been seeing that throughout the period of the opening, and some behaviors that are not acceptable to the African National Congress. Yes, we are worried, but we shouldn't worry to the extent of being paralyzed. Let's worry. Let's ask ourselves the question, why did we have to have some of these delegates behaving in the manner in which they were behaving? And then secondly, we've got leaders. These delegates belong to structures. We're hoping that when we go back, the leaders of those that were not really acting according to what we know of the African National Congress will decisively deal with it.
Let me tap into that honesty that you have just displayed. You're worried about the direction of the ANC. You're worried, perhaps, about the quality of debates on these policy positions that are being discussed. In your own words, what is going wrong with the ANC?
Well, the funny thing is that, Xoli, I wish the commissions could have been also open so that you could see the difference between what you saw there and what is happening in the commissions. I'm coming from a commission where the very ordinary members of the African National Congress are talking about international issues, are talking about global issues, are talking about the economy of South Africa, and are making proposals as to what they think needs to be even done in terms of dealing with the challenges. One of which was very exciting, coming from some comrades in KwaZulu-Natal who were saying to us, political education is what is missing. And political education must not be made for us who are top leaders. Political education must happen at branch level, must happen at regional level, and the leaders of the African National Congress mustn't think that when they know the politics of the African National Congress and they take it for granted that everybody else is going to be in the same position as a Lindiwe Zulu who's been here for more than 40 years.
So it is, I take it, an admission that at leadership level, the quality of political education or the impact of political education, indeed, it is there and it is in full display where leaders behave as they should. But at membership level, grassroots, that's where it is most lacking. Is that what you're saying?
What we are saying is that the political education that is there, that is even being pushed through the political school of the ANC, which has not started not very long ago. What is missing is ensuring that the same political education that many of us went through, we must not take it for granted. Then when people join the African National Congress within 6 months, within a year, we think that they'll be exactly at the same level. Comrades are not saying that we shouldn't do the political education. They are saying to us, step it up and make sure that when members of the African National Congress join, they must know why they're joining. They must know what the ANC stands for. They must know the constitutions. They must know the rules of the African National Congress. In short, they're simply saying to us, yes, we've got 1 million members, but you've missed one thing, ensuring that those 1 million members that you might have, or 600 and something thousand that we have, we've got to focus on ensuring that political education is understood and absorbed by everybody.
As outgoing chairperson of the subcommittee on international relations, let me latch on to that for a moment. COSATU, your alliance partner, coming out today in its message of support to say, and I want to quote directly, that the leadership of the ANC on the international stage has been weakened as we have embarrassed ourselves with a litany of our scandals. How do you respond to that? Is that a fair observation from an alliance partner?
The alliance partner has got the right to make his own analysis and come out with statements like that. And it is important for us to appreciate that when they say such things, it should worry us as the African National Congress. And if it worries us, we must then go into conversation as to exactly what are they talking about. One would probably guess that they're thinking that issues of governance which are not going right, issues of corruption which is endemic, and issues of poor leadership where we're supposed to be strong, we must not listen to what they are saying. What we need to do is to come and say, you see it the way you see it. What are we going to do about it? Because to be an alliance is not about pointing fingers and criticizing without contributing to correcting that. Yeah. That's what the alliance have been all about, because the alliance is not new, by the way. During the liberation struggle, the alliance was there in a different way. We had the Communist Party, we had SACTU, we had a whole range of others. All the time, there was always the principle of let's lift each other as alliance partners.
They are, in a way, communicating a message that the scandals, quote unquote, that they are talking about and how the ANC leadership has been weakened in that sense, they're latching on to what they are observing here as leaders who have been nominated but may not necessarily exude the kind of confidence that South Africans are going to say, that's a quality leader. I think we could rally around someone like that. Are you satisfied that the leadership nominations, let's forget for a moment that there is a result that may be communicated this evening, but just at nomination level, the quality of leaders that have been put up for election, it's of a poor quality? Is that not what COSATU is communicating?
Not really, Xoli, because It is the branches that start the process of nomination. And it is the branches and the delegates that are going to end up voting for who they believe, or the mandate that has been given to them by their branches that they're going to vote for. The nomination is done. And the battle, of course, is going to be in the ballot as to who exactly the majority of the branches want here. Now, when you talk about quality of leaders, I personally believe, Xoli, that leadership is a journey. And leadership is also about different times with different challenges. Because if you look at maybe leadership of President Nelson Mandela, the conditions were different and everything was different, and there are dynamics that keep on playing themselves out. And we mustn't run away from the fact that it won't be a Lindiwe Zulu sitting here who's going to decide who the branches are. I belong to a branch, and when my branch decides, it's my responsibility at branch level when names are being nominated. It's our responsibility to say, why is so-and-so being nominated? Because that's the way it happens in the African National Congress. Unfortunately for us, that's one element that we've lost a little bit, where in the main, when people are being nominated, you used to stand up and motivate why you are nominating a particular person. The dynamics that are playing themselves in some instances are very unfortunate, but that's the democracy of the African National Congress.
Let me grab the opportunity then, while we're on the leadership thread, and talk female representation, particularly in this high-level structure that is called the top 7 now. Female representation is something that I think even women inside the ANC are complaining about. You are at Deputy Secretary General level. I think that's where most of the nominations are coming through for women. First Deputy Secretary General, and I think even to an extent the Treasurer position. Are women in the ANC ready to go back to the drawing board? And I remember having a conversation, quite a similar conversation, with the then leader of the Women's League, Mathabile Dlamini. And I asked her the question, do you think that women in the ANC are their own worst nightmare? And in a way she agreed.
Disappointing, Xoli. I tell you, it's very disappointing. However, it says to us what must be done and done differently. Considering, by the way, the fact that the very male comrades that we have in our midst live in a society which is patriarchal, live in a society where they might look at a woman and be thinking, well, if I can't have my wife doing that or my girlfriend telling me to do that, who are they to think that they can sit with us around the same table and be making those decisions? That's a fact. The African National Congress belongs to the very same communities and society where we live in. However, fact is, the African National Congress says it leads, and it leads society. And therefore, not only just the women must concern themselves with the status quo in as far as women are concerned. The membership of the African National Congress in general must always keep in mind that women belong to the liberation struggle, belong to the development of the country. They belong to all stratas. Yeah. And by the way, this is nothing new for some of us. We were in camps maybe 35 or 30 years ago. We faced the same thing, Xoli. We did everything that our male comrades could do, but we could hardly be commissars, we could hardly be commanders. Tell me why. It is because we are women, and society looks at us very differently to say we are women and therefore we belong somewhere else. Yeah. We will break that. Slowly but surely, we will break it. Even in the African National Congress, we will break it, because if you look at the 50-50 that we pushed it on the basis that we could see there's no other way of doing it. So you can see now, you've got more women in parliament, you've got more mayors, you've got more women councillors, but when it comes to the upper echelons, it's still very difficult for us. And it's a societal problem, Xoli, that we all need to deal with.
Final question, and very briefly if you can. Who's going to close conference? President Ramaphosa or former Health Minister, Dr. Xoli Mngambi?
The one who wins the elections once the vote has been completed will close the conference.
You're not willing to put your name on any block?
No, the vote was secret for everybody, including myself. The one who wins, the votes are going to be counted, and the one who wins, the ones that the majority of the delegates put their cross to, will close the conference.
Should South Africans ready themselves for a different face as opposed to the one we've seen in the last 5 years?
I think the votes, when they are counted, the right people will come and make that announcement. I can't make that announcement because I've got a branch that gave me a mandate, and I'm sticking to that, and it is secret. Like all votes are secret. Sorry, Xoli, for disappointing you.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you very much for your time. That's Lindiwe Zulu, ANC NEC member and outgoing chairperson of the International Relations Subcommittee of the ANC.